Hi, so I'm Nina Newcross Benton. I'm the Senior Catchment Advisor for Southstaffs and Cambridge Water. I'm currently stood within our maize trial plot. As you can see, it's very tall. This is one of the few that we've done this year. We've upscaled it from last year. We just did it with the one farmer last year, but this year we're doing it with 8. And as you can see, the maize has taken really well. Obviously, what we're aiming for with doing these trials is that we have the ground cover, so you can see the grass underneath, and then when the maize comes off in a couple of months' time, usually this will be left bare over winter with bare soil, but this grass that's grown will give you a nice ground cover over winter, and it will spread out when the maize comes off, and the light can then infiltrate down a bit more. So amongst our grass underneath the maize, obviously you can see there's quite a bit of weed in this plot. We have had a really bad problem this year with fat hen, due to the problem with the pre-em not working. So the pre-emergence pesticide that we applied didn't work because of the dry conditions, and yeah, so the second application at this plot didn't seem to work so well, and because of that it's killed out some of the grass. But we still got a little bit of grass, which is a good thing, and hopefully once the maize is out, the grass can start to spread out like it did on our previous year's crop. So this is an example of a maize field that hasn't been undersowed. As you see, it slopes uphill and then further uphill in the distance. So the problem with this, as you can see, is there's quite a lot of gaps, quite a lot of soil on show, and then ultimately what will happen with that, if this wasn't managed, is every time it rains, the rain will fall down in between the crops because it's so gappy that the leaves wouldn't really stop much of the rainfall if it was heavy, and then it would fall down in between the crops, down onto the soil, and then anything that's been on that soil, i.e. remaining pesticide residue, any nitrates from the muck that was applied beforehand, or the nitrogen put in whilst the crop was being put on, would then be washed off downhill, and then down into the ditch at the bottom of the hill, which would ultimately go into the watercourse and then down to the reservoir, where we would abstract from to our water treatment works. Or the other option would be that in a groundwater catchment, the water would go onto the floor, do exactly the same as I've just mentioned, apart from it would run off and then have connectivity to a groundwater source. Whereas if you've got grass underneath the crop, not only does that take up some of those remaining pesticide residues, as well as the nitrates from the muck or the the granular fertiliser put on establishment point, but it would also protect the ground in the same way that it would do in a surface water catchment, and reduce leaching of those nutrients.